And now it's time for today's daily forecast with EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martridge.
Hey, good Tuesday morning to you. It is Patriots Day, September 11th, 2018, and we have a cold front that's going to be pushing through the region today. It's going to take its time doing so, though, and it's going to get to the eastern parts of our coverage area later this afternoon, extreme eastern Pennsylvania, and right about here. This is going to be later this afternoon, and out ahead of it, we'll have the opportunity for some isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms. Some of these storms, though, could produce some locally heavy rainfall, so to watch that, especially down here by the Delmarva. I really don't think you're dealing with that in any storms further north, probably just showers, but looks like that you will see the opportunity for mostly cloudy skies today, at least we get in the afternoon. A cloudy start with maybe a spotty shower or maybe some drizzle in a few spots this morning, and then once we get in the afternoon, you'll have mostly cloudy skies, so not impossible to see the sun today, which would be a blessing after the last couple of days have been just kind of cloudy, damp, raw, and chilly. Temperatures not getting out of the 50s in many locations for the last couple of days. Today will be in the upper 70s to low 80s across the region, so it'll be a big difference from what we've seen over the past couple of days. And this cold front will move eastward, but kind of stall here. It's really not going to be moving too fast. Let's get over the NAM high-res future simulated radar. I'm going to start this off at 8 o'clock in the morning. You can see a few spotty showers or maybe areas of drizzle that will occur this morning, and then when we get to the afternoon again, we're going to see some breaks in in spots, but we're not expecting the sun to come out full force, so don't get the wrong idea. Just a few peaks of sun, and then once we get through the afternoon, mid-afternoon or thereabout, you see these scattered showers and storms popping up, and this is closest to that frontal boundary. This is looking at 5 p.m. We got some scattered showers here in the interior, a few storms here down by the Delmarva. Again, these are going to be hit or miss, but you're going to have the opportunity for some drenching thunderstorms with these. So not really slow moving like we've had over the last couple of days, but these are going to be moving a little bit faster than that, but you'll have the opportunity to get heavy downpours in any of those storms. So that's what we're looking at today, and again, mainly confined down in these areas right here. And then once we go into the overnight, this kind of falls apart and dissipates. So just a spotty shower here overnight left over, it looks like. And then we go back to the globals here for Wednesday. Very similar setup here on Wednesday with a front still in the vicinity, and we have the opportunity for afternoon and evening scattered showers and thunderstorms. That front is actually going to be held in check in part because you have Hurricane Florence coming into the picture, so that is not going to allow this to move like this normally out off the coast, and it'll kind of get hung up there and then end up dissipating or be absorbed. So this is Hurricane Florence, and for the last couple of days we've trying to decide the exact landfall point here, and we've been honing in on an area here basically from the North Carolina and Virginia border all the way up to the Outer Banks. So somewhere in here, I think we're favoring more like the southern part right in here is for our latest track that we did yesterday. So whether it's going to be here or here is not really a big deal, or even down here in South Carolina, you're still going to have a multi-state impact with this as it moves in. And the biggest concern at landfall, of course, is the wind and the surge and the heavy rain. But even after landfall, once this starts to weaken a little bit, you do get a little bit more into the flooding aspect of the storm, which is even more dangerous in many aspects. So we're going to be watching the eventuality of this after landfall. I'm going to move this forward for you just to show you what this does. And it makes landfall here pretty close to Wilmington, or maybe just northeast of the North Carolina and South Carolina border. Still a possibility it can go into South Carolina, Myrtle Beach and points southwest is still possible. Further north is also possible, but the highest likelihood is going to be on the southeastern North Carolina coast is what it's looking like for landfall point. But you can see here, this is looking at Thursday. Now, the clouds associated with this are going to be pretty expansive. This thing that makes landfall, especially, the cloud field is going to expand a little bit, it's going to get bigger. And you're also going to have some breezy conditions. Obviously, with the system coming on shore, it gets very windy right where this comes on shore, and you have 100-plus mile-per-hour winds going in all directions like this around the center. But as we described in yesterday's video, after that makes landfall, that wind field will expand. And it doesn't just go poof and disappear and go away once this thing starts to weaken. The wind has to go somewhere. Try to think of it like a thunderstorm almost. Maybe a bad analogy here, but think of it like a thunderstorm. When a thunderstorm collapses, you have the gust front ahead of a thunderstorm when it's still going. Once it collapses, well, the wind has to go somewhere. It doesn't just disappear like a fart in the wind, proverbially speaking here. It has to go somewhere, so it goes out well ahead of the storm, and that's called an outflow boundary. Well, this is almost the same type of thing. And as this is weakening and collapsing, the storm, the outflow from this will go out even further than it did before, although it's going to be running into friction and things like that on the ground that will slow it down. and it's not going to be anything near the intensity that it would be at the landfall point. So just keep that in mind. I do think because of that, Friday's going to be a breezy day here around these parts, and we will probably remain cloudy with that expansive cloud field. Now the question is, whether or not we get rain out of this, whether it be direct or indirect. Well, I think if it's going to happen, it's going to be indirect, and it's going to be something that's remnant rainfall, and we're not eliminating a possibility. Again, let me say it a little bit slower because some people didn't understand what I said that in the previous video. There is still a possibility we can get remnant rains from this system. We are not writing it off. What I am writing off is a New Jersey, New York City landfall. Okay, I'm writing that off. The chances of that happening, it's less than a percent. So can it come a little bit further north? Yes. Can it hit, up here by the mouth of Chesapeake and Virginia and then head west? Yes, that can happen. It's not sold 100% on North Carolina, but the chance it comes up here and directly strikes like Sandy does in New Jersey and it's just scaring people up here is ridiculous. That idea is absurd. We can get remnant rainfall from this and flooding rainfall if this works out that way. Now, some models are not expecting that. We're going to get to that in a second. Let's take a look at this wide view of the Atlantic, and here's North Carolina, Virginia, and the southern parts of our coverage area up here. This still has a long way to go, but it's getting a lot closer. You'd see it's a lot better organized today. You got a nice outflow over top of the storm and is breathing very well. A little bit of dry air that was sucked into this evening on the southeastern side, wrapping it in. And you might be going through an eye wall replacement cycle here as you get a little bit zoomed in. You can see I have an inner and outer eye wall. It's really tough to see here in this image. You can kind of see at the very end of this image. I'm going to stop it here. You can see there's an outer eye wall here, and then you have another one here on the inner part. This is usually a sign of a eye wall replacement cycle about to commence. It hasn't done it yet, and you'll get more of a ragged appearance of that eye in the center when it does that. So we're going to continue to watch that. You see a little bit of dry air coming in right here at the end. You see that? So there might be something going on here where there's going to be an eye wall replacement cycle, and that will allow the intensity of the system itself to fluctuate. And we do expect one or maybe even two of those before landfall, and that has a long way to go yet. We might have an eye wall replacement cycle out here, another one out here. These are very hard to predict when they're going to happen. They just happen. Okay, it's just the outer core is choking off the inner core, trying to make you the hurricane's trying to get bigger. Okay, it's trying to find a way to get bigger. Well, one way it does that is replace the inner core with a wider outer core, and by doing that, it expands this system. So instead of being a compact hurricane, it's going to spread out. This thing's at 140 miles per hour right now. If it wants to get bigger and get to Cat 5, it's going to have to expand somehow. Okay, so that's the idea we're looking at. And again, this is going to head right toward the Carolina region, whether that's here or here. That's not important right now. It is for these guys down here, but not for our area. We're looking at more from the aspect from the remnant rainfall that could or could not reach this region. Now, we do have a ridge that's going to build over the top of here, over southeastern Canada and northern New England, that should keep this system off to the south, and most model guidance is in agreement that it's going to stay off to the south. Some bring it out here over to western North Carolina, western Virginia. Just a tremendous amount of rain here for these folks down here. But you see it gets pretty close here on Friday, so we're going to keep, at least a 40% chance of showers in the forecast from these outer bands as this thing's starting to die off. Once it hits the mountains out here, this is the Appalachians right here. Once it hits the mountains, it's going to weaken pretty significantly down in this region. But the rain doesn't just go away. The wind doesn't just go away. It takes a while, okay? And it's going to expand out further than it normally does because of that collapsing going on here with the system. So we're going to keep showers in the forecast here Friday, cloudy with passing showers, and it's going to be breezy on Friday because that's when the system is going to have that expanded wind field coming out of it. So I think Friday's going to be a breezy day, and then once we get to Saturday, the system's still off to the south here, and as long as it stays down here, we're going to keep it mostly cloudy with a kind of a question mark both Saturday and Sunday. Still in the vicinity here, so you can still have showers or wraparound showers. And this system might decide once it's had enough and it dies out over here, it might start rotating back here like this and come right across our region and bring us some rain here in the Sunday, Monday time frame. If that were going to happen, it probably would be then, Sunday, Monday. So we're going to keep a close eye on this. It seems our area is like a magnet for these big storms and heavy rainfalls this entire summer. So would not be a surprise if we did get remnant rainfall from this. But the longer it delays out here, really bad for these guys down here. Better news for us because it would just quickly get picked up by the trough eventually. There's a trough coming down here early next week. Eventually it's going to be picked up by the trough and move off to the northeast, and what's left of it at that point. It probably isn't going to be nearly as potent at that point by the time it moves through. So, and which should quickly accelerate to the northeast. So a lot of different theories we're throwing at you there. The whole idea here is We're going to continue to watch it, not just for the landfall point for these guys down here, but we're going to also watch for what the system does after landfall and if it does affect our region and to what extent. All right, that's what we're going to be concerned about going forward. And I think if something does happen in this area, it's likely going to happen later in the weekend or early next week as that trough moves in and picks it up. Otherwise, we should be cloudy or mostly cloudy with the system in the vicinity. And again, a little bit breezy here on Friday. Be sure to check out the weather alerts page. We do have a weather alerts map that's going to look like this, something like this. This is what's up there now, but we will have this updated twice a day. It's going to be late morning and again late afternoon. We'll update this, the probability chances of landfall. This is trying to project the landfall point. And we're giving percentages here of where that best chance is. So right now, as of the 4 p.m. advisory that we put out, this is what it looked like, the best chances between the North Carolina-South Carolina border and up here by Cape Lookout, or sort of there about southern Outer Banks. So that's probably your best chance area again, but we still have a 40% chance here in the orange areas. Yellow would be the 20% chances. We're going to shift this around if needed today. Again, we have another one of these come out late morning on the weather alerts page and late afternoon, updated twice daily up until landfall. I'm Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Marcheside is your outlook for September 11th, 2018. Have a great Tuesday.